Hello there, sports fans. I am Brittany McLean, and I have the privilege today to be joined by Devin Haru across the pond over in Saalbac, Austria, who I don't know if anybody parties harder on a Monday. Devin, let's start there. Set the scene. Where are you, and what are you up to?
Britt, you're absolutely right. I'm conveniently located at the base of an après-ski. You might hear the music blasting out of that chalet. It feels like every day is a Friday here in this brilliant and beautiful Austrian Mecca. Yes, I'm in Saalbac, Hinterglemm. They held the World Championships right here 34 years ago in 1991. We had a huge CBC Sports crew here on the ground, and Brett, you should have seen their outfits, all the fluorescence you could imagine. A little jealous of the fashion back then, but we're talking about right now. And listen, this ski Mecca, they call it the ski circus. There are slopes and chairlifts everywhere you look, and people are ready to party. They are expecting hundreds of thousands of fans located right at the base. I'm just right near the finish line, where about 15,000 people will gather daily when the championships start. And all through the area to my right, as I look across here, they're calling it the Fan Mile. And so people will be celebrating in the streets. You know, Britt, the Swiss will be bringing the cowbells. Everybody's going to be bringing the noise. And I can tell you from a Canadian perspective, the skiers have arrived here today. So everything is set, Britt. We're almost ready for the 2025 Alpine Ski World Championships.
And Devin, you said it yourself. I mean, this program, especially in Canada, it's a really exciting time to be a fan of alpine skiing. We're coming off of an extraordinary weekend on the men's side. Cam Alexander, and of course, we have Jack Crawford with winning Kitzbühel. Like, truly, when you look at that accomplishment, they unfortunately didn't get to race in Germany this past weekend. So their last race was coming off of that elated high. How do you kind of set the scene for this men's program and what we can look forward to here in Austria?
I love what you said. You set it up brilliantly, Britt. This is an extraordinary time for this Canadian Alpine team. And if you think back, you could probably predict all of this because it started to build 2 years ago at the World Championship in Courchevel-Maribel. Canadians winning 4 medals there. It was a best ever finish at a World Alpine Championship for Canada. They had 4 previous times, won 3 medals. And of course, at those Worlds, it was Jack Crawford, who you said just won kits about a week ago. He won gold in the men's Super G. And so you know that Jack Crawford, Cam Alexander, he won a bronze in the downhill event 2 years ago at Worlds. Those two men have been at the heart of this men's alpine team, and they are brimming with confidence. Britt, I will say one of the things I'm going to be paying close attention to is how they rebound off that emotional high. It was, and of course, we should mention the party at the Londoner, and I know you talked to Todd Brooker and the Crazy Canucks. They started that party about an hour down the road from where we are in Kitzbühel. So it's been a party. It's been a crazy time because when you win Kitzbühel, you are the king of the hill. Talking to some of the Canadian Alpine Canada staff today, they said Jack Crawford is a celebrity around here now. So I'm going to be really interested, Britt, to see how he's able to manage all of this newfound fame, because when you are the king of kits going into a world championship, there is a total different focus. The international media from around the world, they're all gathered here. The Canadian men want to keep the good times going. I'm understanding that this hill, this course, perhaps technically not all that difficult. So will that favor the Canadian men? We're going to find out shortly, but I know they're ready. They're on the ground here. I'll be speaking to them tomorrow. But like you said, all the momentum on the side of the Canadians right now, Britt.
And Dev, you say it so well, but you and I have had a ton of conversations about the great Summer McIntosh, and one of the things you always remind me there is that pressure is a privilege, and that a lot of these athletes, the ability to be going in as the favorite and the best is a new weight for Jack, but it's one that will be keeping a close eye on to see how definitely he handles that. this week. Of course, the competition is almost 2 weeks long, so there's going to be a ton that we have to keep an eye on. But we'll be remiss to not chat about the women's program. There are a ton of great success stories there. We have Val Grenier, who's come back from some extraordinary injury. Let's talk to a bit about that women's program and where the key things that you're keeping an eye on are.
Britt, no other time in Canadian Alpine history has there been two defending champions going into a World Championship. That's the case we find ourselves right now. Laurence Saint-Germain, she won that surprise, perhaps, slalom gold 2 years ago at Worlds. So she's coming in here with a lot of confidence. I love that you pointed out Val Grenier coming back from that injury in Cortina last January. I spoke to her literally standing in this exact spot about an hour ago, and I put that to her. I said, Val, a year ago it looked as though maybe this wouldn't have happened, that you would be here to compete at her 6th World Championship. Wrap your head around that. She was 18 years old when she made her World Championship debut. She talked about this all being very emotional. To be back here, to be in the Canadian colors, representing the Maple Leaf once again. Her 6th World Championship. She's competed at 2 Olympics. She's a veteran here. You have somebody like Britt Richardson, 21 years old, looking at Val and going, "You're somebody I looked up to. Now I get to ski with you. Now you're my best friend." And so there is these good vibes right now, Britt, around this Canadian Alpine team. I understand there are going to be 12 on this team. We'll get the official list of all the competitors who will be here, but I'm learning that it'll be 6 men, 6 women, and they are all rallying around each other. And at a time where there's a lot of conversations about Canada's place in the world, I want to finish by saying that these Canadian skiers feel it's so important to make our country proud. They all talked about it in our interviews here this afternoon, that they want to, in their own way, bring Canada together and make the Maple Leaf proud. So, buckle up as always. It's going to be an extraordinary 2 weeks here in the ski circus. And it's probably time for me and Steve and our crew here, Britt, to get to the après and get ready for the World Championships.
Yeah, such great stuff, Devin. We appreciate your time. And as you mentioned, you're a small but mighty crew, so make sure you are tuning into all of the coverage. We'll have it here on CBC between the streams, the broadcast coverage. Of course, Devin will be in the mix zone. He'll be at the après. Of course, follow him as well on X and all socials, truly, because that's where you're going to get some of the best stuff, and all the CBC Sports channels as well. But we appreciate you taking the time today. I got excited. We're also just over the 1-year mark away from Milano, so that's a storyline we're going to have to keep an eye on, because these athletes are gearing up for an Olympic Games in only 1 year time. If you're not excited, I don't know where you're watching from, but definitely not on our camp. So Devin, go enjoy the evening. I hope you get to hit up maybe a little bit of an après, and I know you've got a lot of interviews still to come, so thanks for taking some time with us today.
Thanks, Brett.